All right, I think it's recording. All right, everyone, welcome to week 7. And thank you, Cindy and Betsy, for coming on this morning. I'm so glad I'm not just talking to my head in a square. And I know people are busy. I'm busy too. I'm here in Florida with my family, with my husband's family, loving on his dad, who's declining and on hospice. But it's been a good week, or not a good week, a good few days. And still being able to touch my business, which is one of the things I love about Trades of Hope, that you can work your business anywhere. I have been able to do nothing for hospice because I'm not there, right? Which is fine. I have a covering colleague for that. But I love that I can continue to change the world and grow a business and impact artisans and you all, no matter where my feet are planted. So I was going over the schedule, and we still have 2 topics left. One is helping new CEs become qualified, and the other is leading a team, leadership styles. And then we're going to have our celebration week. I'm making a little bit of an adjustment to this week's topic based on some conversations I've been having with people, both on the director level and you all too. Because one of the things that I've been thinking about is if we want to help CEs, new CEs, qualify and grow a business, we really need to be talking about a little bit more about us and our leadership and how it is that we are functioning. Oh, hey, Martha's on. Hey, Martha. Hey, we're just started. I was thinking I was going to be the only one talking to myself, but Cindy is on and Betsy and me, so it's so great to see you all. So I was just saying I'm tweaking the topic a little bit for today because I've been in some conversation and thought before I go on to talk about how to help people qualify and grow their business, I think we need to talk a little bit more about our leadership and what it means to be an influential leader. So I'm going to go ahead and mute you, girlfriend, because you got little munchkins there. So let me get going. So last week we talked about sponsoring, and sponsoring is a huge piece of, it's so important. And so I do apologize that the video is the longest of the videos, but the content is important and there's a lot. And like I said at the beginning, I could spend a month of Sundays and still somewhat only scratch the surface on sponsoring. So feel free to break that video up into a couple sittings if that's helpful for you, and go back and watch the second half. But I think next time I do one of these leadership experiences, I'm actually going to do sponsoring in 2 weeks for that reason. But this week, what we're going to be talking about is walking the talk and working smarter. And then next week, we're going to talk more about, because I think that's the core of what it means for us to be leaders. And then we're going to talk about helping somebody else grow. So the heart of what today is about is that people don't care how much you know until people know how much you care. And a big piece of our work that we do with our teams as we grow is building trust. And we do that through rapport building by actually having some engagement with our CEs. But also we build trust and some of that rapport by the way in which we live our life. Because if we tell somebody this is what you should be doing, but they don't see us doing those things, then that is going to be a difficult way of getting that trust built. And the reality is, anyone you sign on to them, you are their primary leader. They have chosen to join Trades of Hope with you, not with Shelby Blackcouch, not with Erica, Jess, not even with the founders. They've decided to go on this journey with you. And so you are going to be their frontline leader. You're the person that they're going to be watching, and they're going to be taking their cues from you on how you work your business, how you're working your life, and how you're living out your priorities. So, and one of the things that they're going to learn is about how to care for a team by the ways in which you care for them. The way you show care And by being caring and walking the talk is going to set the standard for the girls who join you. So direct sales, as we've been talking about, and I know you all have been learning more and more about the industry, it draws so many different people from different stages of life, different economic groups, different education backgrounds, different unique personalities. And so and that's one of the beauties of it, is that everybody, doesn't matter what their history, they can come in and be a part of this. The other unique thing about direct sales is while you have a team, there is no boss, right? I'm not your boss. Like, even Cindy's my personal sign-on, but I'm not her boss. Cindy's her own boss. This is her business, and she gets to choose to work it or not work it, be successful or not be successful. But instead, as a leader, whoops, let me turn off my ringer. As a leader in the direct sales world, while I'm not a boss, I'm not your bosses. The founders aren't even your bosses. What we are as leaders is we're champions, we're cheerleaders, and we're coaches. Those are the roles that we play in the direct sales world in terms of being in somebody's leadership. But this is ultimately a volunteer organization, right? People volunteer to choose to become a CE, and they volunteer to work their business as they want. But we get to champion them, cheer them on, and coach them. The only commonalities we have is that we all chose this company, and that we all have, and that right now your team has the leaders that they have. Like, those are the commonalities. You and your team chose Trays of Hope to work a business with Trays of Hope, and then your team has used that frontline leader and me as their director, and then like, those are really the only commonalities. So the thing is as our CE's leaders, we want to be the best leader we can. We want to be that person that they look up to, not because of the title we hold, but again, because they've said, I want to follow you. I want to grow a business in the wake of your leadership. So you aren't their boss, but you can be a strong influence on the girls on your team. And that's what we're going to talk a lot about today, is what it means to be an influential leader. An influential leader who's walking the talk. So if you say booking and partying is important, my question is, do your girls see you booking and partying? If you say sponsoring is an important way to grow your business and grow your impact on artisans, does your team see you doing opportunity chats and inviting people to join your team? If you say customer service is important, does your team see you caring for your customers and doing that? Do they hear about those stories from you? An influential leader inspires people to be all that they can be. And this is a common theme. If you've been listening to any videos that Holly has to share, if you've seen her at a retreat, you hear Holly that is her mantra. I don't know if it's for 2017 or it's her whole life, but she wants compassionate entrepreneurs to be all that they're created to be. And she empowers us. She empowers me to believe that I can. I mean, even as I'm on this course striving to hit the director qualifications 2 months in a row, which I need to do that to be able to stay everybody's director. She's just been breathing truth and encouragement into me since August, like since we started having some of these, July, August, since we started having more kind of fall-like goal conversations. And so the thing is we need to inspire the girls on our team in the same ways. We need them to know we believe in them. An influential leader also exudes confidence. And you need, the reality is we need to work at being the company girl, the company gals that I'm choosing. I see myself, not that I want to be a compassionate entrepreneur, I am a compassionate entrepreneur. Not that I want to be a leader, I am a leader. You all are leaders. You have girls who've joined you. You are leading in some capacity. It's not so much about rank, but it's about what you believe about yourself. And an influential leader leads from the front. They lead by example. And your team is watching you regardless of what you show your leaders on your team. They're going to take your lead on your activities, on your priorities. If you're putting those big rocks in first before you put all the smaller stuff around. So the thing that I think is important, and it is a choice kind of action, is it's about this embracing a mindset. Not if I can do this, I'm going to have the success, but rather I will do this and I'm going to be successful in whatever measure that success is. And then that way you can say to your girls, if I can do it, you can do it. You know, I've done this business working full time. So anyone who says, well, I'm working full time, you know, I'm doing this business with 2 sets of aging parents with health issues. If you got that scenario, I can relate. You know, while I might not have children, I have other responsibilities. I also have some health issues that have been significant the whole time I've been with Trades of Hope. But there, and you look, and there's plenty of leaders. Jess, who was on our team call last night, has 4 children, right? She's had 2 of them since she joined Trades of Hope, and she's a national executive director because she touches her business every day. She lives what she says. She leads the way she lives. So anyone can do this work. That's the reality. Disregard, it doesn't matter what their history was, what their degrees, their experience, their skills, or even their personality type. What we need to do is we need to figure out when we lead, oh goodness, I can't read my handwriting. We lead out of our strengths. Don't let your strengths become your liability. Don't rely so much on these are all the great things I do and not attending to the places where you need to grow too, because that's something that your team needs to be able to see in you. So the question, you have to ask yourself most days is, if everyone in my team or my organization did what I did today, what would my team or my organization look like? So if I spend a day where I just, go get my hair highlighted and get a massage, and that's all I do, I mean, that would be and then if everybody on the team did that same exact thing that day, well, doing self-care is good and important. It can't be the only thing that I do. So I will still, even here as being with family, with my father-in-law, I'm still been working on hostess coaching, making a call or 2, sending a text to somebody. I have been reaching out to some leaders and talking to leaders. I've got some people kind of in the pipeline to moving towards manager. And so the other day I spent a little time on my spreadsheet and kind of calculating and figuring out how to encourage people and what they need to do to be able to achieve that goal and ask them some questions. So I didn't spend hours, but I spent some quality minutes thinking about what do I need to do to be able to grow my business, grow my team, encourage people, and around the things of booking, posting to my Facebook parties that I have invitations going, looking at how to be strategic for my leaders and helping people rise up, and then reaching out to some new people, and in my own personal growth, what am I reading, so I'm not spending hours a day on that, but rather quality minutes on that. So, and then turning it off the phone, turning it upside down and setting it away so I can't see it. But from the very beginning of starting your team and growing and building a team, the thing is that we have to show up as the leader on that team. We have to show up. So I lead meetings and I attend meetings. And if you don't show up to the team meeting, the reality is your teammates aren't going to show up either. If you set the standard that this is the way a leader engages their Trades of Hope business, then your team is going to follow suit, and and it may be a slow, climb on that, but you're able then to say the next time you talk to them, or you can PM them, hey, I really hope you go back and watch the replay, because here are a couple morsels I got from that team meeting. This is what was helpful. And you've said to them without saying, hey, I was at the meeting. Where were you? You don't have to say that. You just say, I went, and here's what they got out of it. I hope you're going to embrace that too. And then in terms of sales, you know, as a leader, if I want people to sell, guess what I need to be doing? I need to be selling. So nobody in the company put this on me. I made my own good, better, best goals. And when I first started, well, not the first 9 months, in 2016, I started using that. And I originally, it was like 500, 750, 1,000. That was my good, better, best. And then over time, as my business has grown and I've gotten better at doing partying and partying more regular, now I'm at $1,000, $1,500, 2,000 or more. And I'm actually on the cusp of probably bumping that up again. But the reality is, as a leader for Team Share the Love, I wasn't going to start a $1,000 club if I wasn't going to be striving to hit $1,000 a month, right? And so I've had a couple months this year that I have squeaked in there. 2 months, I squeaked in there with that $1,000 in sales. But I was like, hell or high water, I better be on that list too, because that's what my team needs to see me doing, is that I am living what I'm preaching is important. So that good, better, best. If I want girls to empower artisans out of poverty by selling products and building our artisans marketplace, I have to speak it and I have to do it. They have to see me doing it. And one of the ways they see me doing that is when my name, and it feels weird as a director, I'll be honest with you. It feels weird to type my name in the $1,000 club, because it kind of feels like pat, 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 you know. I don't do it for that reason. I do it so everybody on our team sees Shelby's working it too. Shelby's not an exception because she's the director. In fact, when you get to this point, more than ever, you can't just sit back. There's none of that. I mean, it's never going to be that way in direct sales, because as we've been talking, there's a revolving door. People come and go. I've had people join in the last few months who I thought was going to be excellent. They've done nothing. They haven't even launched their business and they're already gone. It is what it is. I can't take that personally. I thank them. I transition them into a hostess. I move on. You know, maybe they'll come back. Maybe they'll decide that there's a better time another time. And because I'm respectful and loving to them, there's a potential for that, you know. So I party regularly because I tell girls it's important, and I do it. I sponsor regularly because I say it's the best way to change artisans' life and to grow our business. And it's not easy. My goal is to sponsor 2 people a month. And this is what my little chart has looked like. I had 1 person, 2 persons, 1 person, 2 persons. Like, it is what it is. I strive my best to hit at least 2. I've had months where I've had multiple people, over 2. So, but my job is to challenge myself to develop and grow, to be the leader that I'm inviting other people to be. And that one of the things I am striving to do and be more intentional on Facebook about, both for our team's sake and for all those potential people out there who I'm hoping will at some point join my team, is that I want to be a glowing example of this model of business works, that it's working for artisans and it's working for me. I want people to think, especially those people who hate their jobs. You know, I ask 2 questions of everybody at every party. How do you know the hostess? Tell me what you do. And then my follow-up to that is, so do you like your job, or what do you like about it? And that is my lead right in. If they are the things that they like about the job, I make the connections to Trades of Hope. Oh, then I bet you probably would love this about what I do at Trades of Hope. If they hate their job, I can commiserate for a moment, be like, been there, decided I was going to be in control of my life and have a better outcome. You know, I wanted to improve my quality of life too by having a job that I feel good about. The other things, I have that hashtag, #MyTOHLife, that I put on a lot of my pictures and posts on Facebook when I'm just trying to give an example of, this is the lifestyle I get to live because I'm with Trades of Hope. I'm not punching the clock. Not everybody, I don't have a boss over me 40 plus hours a week anymore. I still have my hospice, but even in my hospice job, and I talk about this, I negotiated my contract So I can work 48 hours in a 2-week period in any sequence I want, because I wanted flexibility to grow my business and flexibility to do other things that matter to me. And I have the ability now, as my business grows, sometimes I take unpaid time from hospice. I just take the time off because I've already exceeded my PTO this year with vacation and Trades of Hope stuff. But I can do that because my Trades of Hope business compensates for that different and then some. So the thing is this isn't, in living this and exuding this confidence and living your leadership out in front of your team, it's not about perfection, and it's not about hiding your failures or not that you'll never fail. What it does mean is it means hustle, heart, and hard work. Those are the actions of an influential leader. That, I believe it was Jess at Empower talked about hustling in the dark. That when you're going to squeeze out moments. If this is a priority to you and your family, you're going to squeeze out the moments to make this work. And sometimes that's at night or early in the morning. That you're going to do this with heart and passion, and that you have to remind yourself. Some folks have been talking lately about what do you have around you and where you work, or maybe you tape a picture of one of those Inspire Hope or like some kind of artisan picture of what is that thing that is inspiring you to do this business. Maybe it's taking your kids to Disney and you've got a picture of Disney and your kids next to it because you want to get them there. But what is that thing that is driving you to do this? The only way you fail in the direct sales world is if you're not doing enough. You have to work your business, or if you're doing the wrong things. So spending an exorbitant amount of time on Facebook rather than doing your follow-up calls. Obsessing over your team spreadsheet, like where you all are, you don't even need to get on that team spreadsheet. What you need to be doing is having parties, meeting more people, getting more hostesses, having the potential of growing your team. This gets magnified as you grow as a leader, that you have to figure out, you have to balance your priorities and your values, and you need to do it in a way that it can be duplicated by your team. So there is a little bit, as a leader, there is some show and tell that you're doing. You don't want to talk in abstracts. You want your girls to see what you're doing, hear what you're doing, but you don't want to spend the whole time just talking about you. You want to then make that connection to here are the good behaviors that you're here. Here are the consistent things you are doing great, and here's how we can help you grow. And again, as you grow in rank, you have to keep the pace and you have to keep the rhythms. There's just no sitting back. And so when you get this, as people grow in rank, and we see this often when people hit master, manager, even, to be honest, there's been some people on the directors team who've been talking, and a couple girls who said, yeah, I really bit myself in the butt in the spring. And I thought, hey, I hit director. I don't have to push myself to party so much, blah, 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 blah. And then they have had a very difficult time reaching director again in this year. Now, I've not had the same experience. I've been working my butt off. I don't know why I haven't gotten there. But I'm still just going to keep working for it, right? I'm not going to give up because I want to have a bigger impact on artisans, and I want to do this full time. So if it happens in October and November, awesome. If not, man, I'm just going to keep doing it, keep working it for spring. So, but the reality is all directors and managers have to do the same basic work that the brand new CE. I say this all the time. It's the same things that the new CEs who joined us last week have to do. You have to sell, you have to party, you have to sponsor, and you have to do some personal development, personal growth. You need to learn a little bit about this industry. You need to learn more about fair trade and sustainability. You need to understand, get some idea of some of those product stories, things like that. But as you grow, what has been working to get you to those growth spots, you can't just forget. And sometimes people do that. An influential leader is engaged with their business, and engaging people is the most valuable thing you can do with your time. And you are engaging those folks through your parties, by making appointments for opportunity chats, through your hostess coaching, because it's like 1 out of 5 hostesses become CEs, through meetings, and by coaching your teammates. But that engagement is people time. It's not the dilly-dallying around with a lot of creating systems when it's not time to create systems, or being on Facebook, or watching a million YouTube videos. It's actually either voice to voice or face to face with people. Thinking about doing things doesn't count. Talking about doing things doesn't count. Doing it is the only thing that counts. And that's hard. That's hard to stomach sometimes. But the most important thing you can do is, when you think I need to make phone calls, is to take that next small step. Pick up your phone and actually call. If you called 1 or 2 people today, it's probably more people than you've called in the last week, right? So find joy again in what you're doing. Don't let the thinking, the shoulds are shit. I'm sorry about my French, but shoulds are shit. They're not helpful for you. They just are something like people hang themselves like abuse. Instead, take that next little small step, pick up the phone, and even if it's one person, one potential CE, one hostess coaching, one follow-up call from that person you met at the vendor event, in the end, you will be grateful because you had a success in that moment. And embrace it. I don't care how small they are, embrace it. $1,000 in grand intentions is nothing compared to picking up the phone and following up with that lead. You're not going to get to those goals that you want for your life and your business if you don't do it. So schedule that opportunity chat, book a party, and embrace the little bit of serotonin surge you're going to get from that, because you're going to feel good about it, girlfriends. What's important is that when you're on the job, you're engaging your on-the-job hours with your business, that you are engaging people in your IPAs. And your people are usually just littered all over the IPA list. Influential leaders, that was what we talked about the other week, they are focusing on the frog. They eat that frog first. They get the crap that really distracts them, that they're fearful of, they're annoyed with. They get it out of the way at the beginning of the day. As Mark Twain says, eat that frog first, and then anything else you are going to more than stomach for the rest of the day. Don't let it be a burden and shadow you. Success comes to those who work when they feel like working, and when they feel like they don't want to work. So there's a book out there called Slight Edge, and Erin was talking about this. Erin Woods was. And she talked about it's these little small things we do that make a difference. So that maybe it is bumping it up so that you actually are working 30 minutes a day in your business. Maybe it's getting up 15 minutes earlier every day. Maybe it's making 2 more calls before you decide you're going to walk away from your Trades of Hope business. She said, think about Olympic swimmers. What makes them win in the pool? It's by 1/10 of a second, right? Like, it's crazy. Think about that. But that makes a huge difference for them if they're going to win or not, if they're going to get that gold. It's that slight edge, that tiny little difference comes from Michael Phelps getting in that frickin' pool every day. He's doing it every day. Not thinking, I should go to the pool and swim laps. He did it. So it comes from daily dedication, practice, and hard work. And that's how you get that slight edge. The same goes for us. So our slight edge is touching your business daily, every single day, when you want to do your business and when you don't want to. And the reality is the same goes for our artisans. The artisans at Papillon or at Bombalulu, they're not getting paid if they don't go to work when they're scheduled to work, right? And they're counting on us. We are their business partners. So they're showing up. And so they're counting. They think we're showing up too. So we're in that way, we're not just working for ourselves, right? We're working with this partner who she is expecting that we're going to work hard for her and with her today. So the question isn't, will this business work? The question is, will I work? Because the reality is the direct sales businesses work, right? People are leaving their jobs every day. There's statistics vary, but there's tens of thousands of people who join direct sales companies every day. Trades of Hope works. We know that. We have leaders in our company who have been able to relieve their family of burdens of jobs they didn't like, debt, higher quality of life. We have to believe and do all the same thing. We have to believe and do it. And the reality is we all have the same amount of hours in the week. We all have life responsibilities. All of our lives are full. We all have to set our priorities in place. That's how we make it work. So I had someone the other week say, well, I'm really busy, blah, 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 blah. And I said, hey, I'm busy too. Like, I'm not calling you to give you my laundry list of busyness. In fact, I think that, and I've said this for a while, I think people use busy as an excuse to do life. I think that it's something like it's our badge of honor that you show up and you're like, well, I have all these things to do. Well, then I have all, and it's just like sometimes when I'm in a social circle, I just want to scratch my eyeballs out. Everybody's busy. This is what I said to this gal the other week. I was like, I just need 10 minutes of your time. Let's have a conversation. So as you are growing as a leader, don't buy into that comparison game. Instead, what I tried to say is my life is full, but it's good. And I have a lot of rewarding work that I get to do. Everyone's busy, and what we have to do is we have to make sure that we're all breathing that oxygen, that we have to do what we need to do, get that oxygen mask on so we can care for everyone else. Busyness is what it is. It's part of life. And we can either let the busyness master us or we can master it. In the cultural mandate, for those of you who are Bible readers, Genesis 1, when God is giving the kingdom of God, that cultural mandate to the co-heirs, the male and female of the garden, he's saying, have dominion and subdue it. It doesn't master you. You are mastering creation. So when people say like their phone stresses them out, well, you master it. Set it somewhere and go pick it up like on the fifth, like at like 10:45, 11:45. Look at it for 5 minutes and put the thing away. When the phone rings, you don't have to answer it. God gave somebody the ability to make voicemail, or they can text you. Then you can check that when you have time to then decide how you can respond to that. You are stewards. You will always want to spend 50% of your time in your business time, 50% of that building your own personal business. If you're spending 75% of your time pouring into your team and only 25% of your time in your personal business, it's gonna hurt you long term, because you need that. Sales are income for today, bookings are income for tomorrow, sponsoring is income for a lifetime. You have to be working your business, and you have to make sure that at least 50% of your week. And at this point, even I wouldn't even say, I think it could be higher for you all in terms of the size of your team. But your personal business has to be strong, and it has to be strong always. You need to be growing that party schedule. You need to be booking and hostess coaching and sponsoring. So for me, since the fall of 2015, I've been doing 4 to 6 parties a month. And that has reaped its benefits in terms of contacts and growing my team, in terms of hostesses. And I have to, part of putting that mask on isn't just self-care, but it's organization, and it's making sure that you've got a good plan. So I know Jill Butler and Erin swear by this planner that they get at Target. They're not spending all the money on the Erin Condren, which is lovely. But I priced it last year. It was like $126. I'm like, there ain't no planner that's worth that much money in my world. I have like something different that I use that was much cheaper. But they use Day Designer. They buy it at Target. Erin can't talk about it enough. But have your planner and actually use it. One of the tips she gave is she said she writes at the like it has a month at a view glance of a month at a glance view in it, and at the top she writes all of her potential CEs names, and then she puts a check if they join. She puts a line through it if they say no, they don't want that, or if she doesn't get a confirmation, she puts them over on the next month. On the far left side is a list, and she lists all of her hostesses, her potential hostesses that she's going to reach out to. So every time she opens up her monthly calendar, she has these visual reminders. Here are the people I'm pursuing and why. Prioritize your activities. Put those big rocks, like I said before, in first. And in some of those big rocks, of course, are your family. Is your self-care, is your own nurture. And some of those, I would say the 4 big rocks you want to put in every week is partying, booking, sponsoring, and your own personal development. Today is a big rock. You're watching this video, you just put a big rock in your jar. So thumbs up to all of you for investing in yourself by coming on this call. Keep your systems simple. Don't spend a lot of time creating big systems. And think about just even your day-to-day systems. When you're cooking a meal, like I said before, cook a bigger meal or do 2 at a time, and then you can have lunch and leftovers for a few days. Then you're not spending all this time in the kitchen cooking when you could be booking. I just made that up. That was pretty good. The other thing is, I don't know for you, but I've said it before, because of my Trays of Hope business, we were able to hire a house cleaner. And I party, at minimum, I have to sell $200 a month to pay for the house cleaner. She comes, $200 per week that she comes. And so, but that is something I'm striving for. So I sell a minimum of my $400 of sales. 25% of that pays for my house cleaner to come twice a month. And it's awesome. And it's alleviated stress for my husband because he hates to clean it. It makes him grumpy. And it's alleviated stress for me because I would rather work my business than do that. And it gives my friend Carla some income that she needs. So, and she likes doing it. So I budget my house cleaner by my parties. I talked about the lists. One of the things that Erin was talking about recently, that Erin Woods, I really respect Erin. I really try to put my earlobe to the ground and learn from her. But she talks about 3 investments of time that she makes weekly. And so nightly, she looks at her calendar to see what she's doing the next day. So then she can go to bed with kind of some mental peace, but she's got a plan for the next day. The second thing she does is she gets up early to have time for herself and time to work her business. So some quiet time, maybe reading and reflection, but also, maybe she prepares for a coaching session she's going to do or teaching or something. And then the third investment of time she talks about is that 10 to 15 minutes on Sunday night, where she sits down with her day planner or whatever it's called, and day designer, and she looks at the week ahead and she pencils in, I'm calling these 2 people on Tuesday, I'm doing this, going to do this coaching here, blah, blah, blah. And then she can go into the week, and of course you make adjustments. That's just life. You have to be flexible with yourself. But if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a roadmap, you don't know where you're going. And then you'll just spend all week kind of wasting your time and spinning your wheels. Regular partying, I can't say it enough, is so important. So if you party once a week, and on average you have 10 guests at those parties, you're going to meet 500 people this year. And I'm giving that with the 2 weeks off vacation. So if you have 50 weeks in the year, you're doing one party a week with 10 guests at each party. That's 500 people you're going to come in contact with. That's a lot of potential hostesses. And most likely that could be 10 to 12 new compassionate entrepreneurs on your team. And one of the things, and a lot of us have talked about this on the director's team, if you don't party, it's like a muscle. It's hard to go back to the gym, right? And so if I have had like a lag in time for one reason or another, I feel like it's kind of awkward. But as soon as I'm back in that saddle, dang, I feel good. You know, I got my Trades of Hope buzz going again. I'm re-centered. And so like the other night, to be honest with you, I hadn't partied. I guess it had been only 2 weeks since I'd had a live party. But I was not excited about this party. This woman really didn't look like it was going to be a great party. She wasn't going to have my 8 to 10 people I really want to see there. I show up there. There's 6 guests. I end up leaving with 3 bookings, 3 solid bookings, and a potential CE, all because I went to a party that I half sort of thought I wouldn't have done it, but I did think, gosh, I wish I could cancel this because I'm tired. I don't feel great. We have a crazy week, blah, blah, blah. But thank God I persevered, you know, for that hostess's sake. She was so proud to have this party with all of her friends. She was adorable. She's like 25. So proud. I met 3 of her friends. They're so interested in partying with me with Trades of Hope. And this one girl, one of the hostesses, who thinks that she might want to learn more about the business. So if we're not out there, we're not meeting people, we're not growing. So set the example for the girls on your team. Party. We have a party business. This is who we are. We party purposely. So get those parties on your calendar. Like I said last night in the team meeting, vendor events are great. They have a role in our business. When I'm trying to expand this business in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, so I did a vendors event there. But I only do about 4 vendors events a year on average. I'm not spending all my time in it. Instead, I'm using those to get hostesses. Yeah, I'm selling some stuff. I'm mostly using them to get contacts. But I am partying purposely with people because I get more time, more focus, more energy is better used there. So if you want your team to do it, you have to do it too. Make 2 to 3 follow-up calls a day. If you want your girls to be good at following up, you need to have stories about the successes and maybe the failures that you're having. You know, when you're here, if you're not hearing no, you're not doing your business. I mean, Mary Kristen talks about that. Project the benefits of this direct sales life, and use social media in that way in terms of sharing that with people. Be visible. Be ready with your elevator speech. Role play with your CEs when you're talking with them about when they're talking with their struggles. And be your best customer. I don't leave the house without something Trades of Hope on. I don't do it. Wear it, carry it, decorate with it, give it. You know, we had early Christmas with my family the other week, and I gave everybody, except my dad, there's not a lot left for him for Trades of Hope. He does have the wallet. But everybody got something Trades of Hope. And I don't feel bad about that because I was able to show them how their gift was meaningful. And like a new mom, hi buddy, like a new mom, who is making sure that diaper bag is packed when she leaves the house. I don't leave the house if I don't have my business cards, mini books, a couple catalogs, maybe an old summer insert. I leave the house with products in my bag to be able to share with people. I don't want to show up somewhere, somebody asks me what I do, they say, oh gosh, that sounds so interesting, do you have a business card, and not be prepared. So I have my bag right there, and I have it filled every time I leave. So if you want your team to do those things, you have to do it. You need to be teaching that and embrace what Trades of Hope, the home team, offers. When there are incentives, when there's events, go to it. And I'm kind of preaching to the choir here. You girls have been really good about that, like coming out for Aspire, going to Empower, coming to like the local meetup that I had with Nicole's team. But make sure you're bringing those girls along, bringing them along on the team calls and everything. Be visible. Be visible in those team calls. Be visible when you see that your teammates get celebrated either on the team page or the main CE page. Y'all, we need to be on there loving on our girls, giving them encouragement, saying, whoop, whoop, you did it, you know. Sometimes I just use a graphic that I have in my phone in my favorites tab, and I just throw that out. So make it your team culture to go for all the Trades of Hope incentives. Partner with a direct sales person in your area. Find somebody in your area who is working this kind of business and get together with her from time to time. I meet up with my friend Jolene. She's a leader in Beachbody. Where, you know, she wears my stuff, which is kind of a bonus. I don't use her product. I think it tastes weird. But she and I love and respect each other as businesswomen. And she's a great person for me to brainstorm ideas, just talk about the culture of direct sales. I've learned a lot from her. Admit your failures with your leaders. Be open to input and build relationships. But don't get caught up in the lie. Don't say, I am a failure. That is not true. No one's a failure. Maybe the activity failed, but you're never a failure. So you need to be reminding yourself of the truth. The pace of the leader is the pace of the pack. So if you're, hi Michaela, if you're wanting to see a productive team, then your pack is going to be following your pace. They're going to be looking to you to how a leader does this business. So the pace of the leader is the pace of the pack. If you want your team to be strong, then go for it. So no problem. So this is all I have this week is, like I said, we've been talking about walking the walk, being an influential leader, and that starts with you. That starts with you and me living what we say. So be inspired, be empowered by this. You are all here, and this is really valuable stuff. Hopefully you find it to be valuable. I think it's valuable. It's encouraging for me to do it. But I do value that y'all are engaging this. Please engage the weeks you have or haven't posted on, because that, again, if you have girls on your team who's taking part, they're watching you engage this leadership experience. But next week we'll talk more. We'll talk about how to help people qualify, grow their team, grow their business. So thanks for coming on today. It was exciting to see you all. So, and hi, Michaela. Life happens, right, girl?
Yes. At least I got to get in and say hi to everybody.
Yeah.